Need America. No, I'm joking, y'all. So I want to hop on here real quick. I'm trying to get in the habit of being more intentional with getting back on here. I really want to build this channel. I really want to build my community. I really want to make this a safe space for females to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations, and be able to just learn, grow, and level up together. Um, I really need to y'all, this eyelash is lifting up. So, y'all know I'll get on here when I feel like I got a message. Both of them lifting up. When I feel like I got a message, I'll just come up on here. And y'all just gonna take me as I am. I'm gonna go glue my tips in, glue the tips of these on though. But I wanted to get on here really quickly and talk about just early signs on if you may be dating like an abuser. I want to speak on I want to speak on an experience that I've had in my life. And the individual did not abuse me physically. I've been in altercations in the past, not with this individual or anything, but I was given information about the individual I'm going to tell y'all the story on, that they have done some abusive things before to others, and granted, when you ask a person, hey, do you hit people? It's not like they're going to fucking say, yeah, even though it shows they have a DV history. Um, but it's interesting because the individual that I'm going to tell y'all the story about, I would have never seen this coming if I would have still stuck around. And I'm not saying this is one of the reasons. This is a um, just some signs that I'm going to share with you that I've seen early on, because it actually took me to leave the situation alone for different reasons. And then kind of just doing some self reflecting, and something came to me. I had a little revelation like, I wonder if all of this good treatment, all of these things that feel like love bombing, is it associated if I look and see like what are the early signs of abuse? And sure enough, all the things that I was going through that looked it so good, like me thinking I'm being swept off my feet, um, these are early signs of what typically an abuser does to you. So y'all, I dodged a bullet. But it's interesting because I had got came to as a woman. Um, by an ex from this individual, and she overly shared some information. And um when it was brought to my attention, I was in between a situation. I was in a situation where it was an individual that was doing everything that I thought maybe I had manifested, and I was like, because I haven't experienced this, am I going to push this person away? Now I got this girl, coming in. I don't know if she's really a jealous ex. He's saying what he's saying. She's saying what she's saying. It's some truth to both what the both they're saying, but I don't know what the heck to believe. It's too early on. But anyways, so I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. A few weeks later, some even weirder shit came. So I just kind of left the situation alone. But um, as I was leaving the situation alone and going through the process of him asking me, can you just respect my boundaries? I need some time. I don't accept this for myself. I'm too old for, things like this. Been there, done that. So as I kind of just reflected on some of our experiences, and as he was still reaching out, I realized that um not only was he taking a lot of my energy and I was constantly feeling drained, but these signs that I kept raising an eyebrow and I might would have called out the behavior were real signs of early signs of abuse. So I wanted to share some of these with you guys really quickly, just in case you're experiencing them or you have experienced them, or going forward, if you encounter them, you can just stay alert. And one of the signs is a person is going to want to be all in very early with you. whether that being they're trying to move you in really quickly or move in with you really quickly. If they're talking about kids or marriage like super early on within the first month, couple months, I mean, um, you will look at the situation like, dang, this person's intentional, they know what they want. But it could also be an early sign. Another sign is they won't respect your boundaries. For instance, let's say that, you start giving this individual some of their time, some of your time, but you got other shit to do. You got a life, you got work, you got to have kids, you got to, you know, have other family, friends, you got shit you want to do for yourself. Maybe you're in school, maybe you're working on a business. This individual, though, you find is constantly trying to get your time, constantly trying to talk to you, and you find that pulling you away from the things that you want to typically do. And that's a problem. Why? Because that means that you're pouring into other people, and then nobody's pouring back into you. And then it's distracting you and pushing you further away from your goals. Once again, that's a problem. How are you benefiting? Now it seems like you're sacrificing a lot. So that's another thing that you want to be mindful of when you're looking at early signs of abuse. Hello. Another thing would be if they're overly jealous. Um, Overly jealous early in the beginning might look like this. They might say little snickering remarks like, "Oh, you going to what you gonna go on a date?" Or you getting dressed to go on a date. Or they might be like wanting to know constantly where your whereabouts are, where you at, where you going. Oh, you're out of your routine, even if it's something a little different than the norm. Oh, this is new. Just little remarks like that. You'll raise an eyebrow. You might ask, for more clarity or understanding, and you see an individual just getting an attitude. That lets you know that um, either they're having some type of jealousy or insecurity from something. They might be possibly doing something. They might have had a history with something. But if you haven't given them a reason to act like that, that's a red flag. It's an early sign. It's and we can't have the conversation. Like, if you're trying to have the conversation and get an understanding about it, but they don't really want to focus on it, they kind of like play it off like they were just kidding. Or, babe, it's not that serious, why you still want to talk about that? Or try to turn it kind of like you're starting shit. If you can't have those uncomfortable conversations, a lot of times people will flee. So if they're constantly being overly jealous, constantly wanting to know your whereabouts, and you're trying to ask certain situations to get clarity, and then the conversation starts turning weird, getting weird, where you can't really have it, and you're seeing that those remarks are starting to come a lot more frequently, it could be an early sign of abuse. Um, another thing would it would Another thing would be if they're overly concerned about what you do and where you go. For instance, um, let's say that you are doing something outside of spending time with them. They might try to criticize the outfit because you're looking a certain type of way without them. Constantly criticizing certain hairstyles, or just how you look when you know that you're a bad bitch. You know what I mean? But because it's coming from a certain person, it's starting to make your self-esteem come a little down. Like, okay, well, and you're starting to rethink yourself or doubt yourself. Those are early signs of abuse. And those are things that individuals do to try to kind of manipulate you and control you, kind of bring you down, bring that confidence down. Those are early signs of that. So again, I don't want to take up too much of y'all time this morning with this video. I said I was going to make it short, but these are signs of a situation that I've experienced with. Again, luckily I didn't have to go through that physical thing, but um I've built myself up to a level. These are red flags that I would have definitely missed. And I'm not gonna say that I wasn't missing, because I didn't just be like, oh, he's doing this, he's doing this, I'm about to go. It came with other shit. And I was just like, this is a lot going on for 6 weeks. And um there's too many loose ends. This man is not, his words is not no longer matching his actions. And you flooding me constantly with all these gifts and giving me a key all early and stuff. Something's not right with that. And it's like, why? And I realized that person gave me that key, and I at the time was feeling obligated instantly. Like, I instantly felt like I had to be loyal to the individual, and then they would get upset, like, um, if I didn't want to come over, like if it wasn't me giving time to my kids, and I'm like, I have a whole nother household. This is new. I can't just dedicate so much of my time this early on to anybody. This is giving wife duties. I'm tired. I can't be working, maintaining my household, my kids, and then still coming over to a whole nother body. That's a lot of energy. Um, and sometimes I used to see the man, the individual, it would be perceived to me as an attitude. I could have been misreading it, but I got the behavior quite often. So I don't look at me, y'all. I don't think that I was misreading it. Especially with me kind of just confirming like what the early signs are. I was like, damn, I really dodged a bullet, because the individual that came and told me about that person, I don't know their situation, how that went, and I don't really care. It's not my business. But as I'm reading on what I experienced early on, I'm like, I just thank God. I thank God. I thank God, because there's no way. Um, it trips me out to know that somebody is that is intentional as they are. You got to be careful, I guess, with who you attract your trauma to. You got to really make sure a person is healed, and it will show in their actions. It will show in their behavior. Um, and it showed me, because I realized that that person was being fulfilled from me. They were receiving some type of fulfillment. They were feeding off of my energy, and it was making me tired to the point that I didn't really want to be around them. I liked being around them, but I also knew that it was affecting me internally, despite how I felt. And to know that the individual's feelings was stronger than mine, it was easier for me not to be emotionally invested as much, because I'm able to, step outside and look at it, like out of a out of body experience, and just kind of observe, okay, what is going on in this situation? And in this situation, I was slowly being reeled into possibly an abusive situation. Um, and it's interesting how I started realizing that was because when I stopped really dealing with the person, you know how like when you slowly like breaking away from something, and you might kind of communicate, but you're trying to set your boundaries. The person's not respecting the boundaries, and then also they're getting mad when they're not getting their way. Like, how you gonna do me wrong? You lie, you admit that you lie, you're apologizing for the lying, and then within a week you're mad because I'm still not fucking with you. You're not even giving me time, and I'm talking to you every day. So you're basically getting mad at me and yelling at me every day because you're not getting your way. Um, why? First of all, why are we even mad? That's weird for energies to shift like that. You know what I mean? So, um, that's why it's so important that you have to, make sure that you're constantly doing the inner work, because typically we mirror, areas of certain things that we need to heal a lot of times, or we mirror ourselves with other people in general. And this situation just kind of mirrored an area that I had from trauma, because I had to look at the situation like, I raised the eyebrow at it a couple of times, but I still was dealing with it. And it was like, okay, what allowed me to become that vulnerable? People pleasing was a part of it, but in this situation, what was I getting out of it? Because it had to be something for me to allow myself to be even slipping that little bit, because it was totally different caliber of men that I don't typically date. Um, but in this particular individual, I became vulnerable somewhere, and I allowed myself open to that. And luckily, I was able to shake that off. But it took for me to take myself away from that individual. So it took for a different situation for me to be like, no, F that. For me to step out of the situation, give myself that space, stand on what I said, and then me look and see, like, okay, this dude, all the little things I was raising an eyebrow on when he had tried to be like, no, baby, no. um, when you question it, now that I'm not around him, you can kind of start seeing the anger. It's like, okay, he'll try to call, be patient, but then if you're not saying what he wants to hear, he gets upset. And it's just like, I'm not gonna come back around with that motherfucking type of energy. I'm not. I don't. It doesn't feel right. Um, I don't live in that rim. I don't even be around that type of energy. And when I know I didn't do nothing wrong to you, and you're the one that was wrong, how dare you get upset at me for not wanting to fuck with you? This is too early. You showed me one too many red flags too early. You're not worth the sacrifice. So I just wanted to take the time out to kind of share those different signs with you guys. So if you are experiencing them, if you have experienced them, um, or if you are encountering them, you may encounter them. These are just things to just be alert on. Again, I'm not saying if a person has one of these signs, they're an abuser. There's a trend of different things that usually comes with this. And these are just things to stay alert on because they also sometimes in the beginning feel very good and they can feel like you're being swept off your feet. And if you're in one of those situations where you fall in love easily, or if you're in one of those situations where you come from more so like an abusive childhood, um, it's easy for you to get caught into those situations. So, if you are going through that, I send my love. Share your experience if you're comfortable doing so. The community is safe for you to do that. I would love to hear your experience. Um, and if you have a topic that you would like me to talk about, I would love for you to share that with me as well so we can touch bases on that. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. Um, I wanted to share that with you guys. So if you are going through that, if you have experienced that, going forward, you know what to do. You know what to be more mindful of because you're aware now. So it's definitely something you can do about it. It's a difference when you're not aware. But I'm about to cut this video short. I got things to do this morning. I hope you guys have an amazing day. If you're not following me, hit that subscribe button, turn your alerts on so you know when I am creating wonderfulness. But you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you guys later.